I need to think about this one.
I knew it was a loaded question because I was like, yeah, for someone who's worked on so much stuff, surely. I was gonna say, dude, I was gonna answer that for you. I was like, it's definitely The Last of Us. Like,
the time period, even before that, like back into like Nintendo time, like people just can draw and then can be like the artist. The
yeah.
title would be just artist. If they don't like it, and then we'll just have to like take it out. But like worth trying.
Oh, you've done that before. You've just put it in and see how it goes.
Yeah, and then like if they don't like it, and then we took it out later.
So yeah, first of all, thanks so much for coming on, man. Like it's really great to talk to you.
Yeah, thank you for the invite. Actually, yeah.
No worries, no worries. First off, Monster Palooza. So I'm new to the expo game. Like I've literally never been to any.
Yeah,
How was it?
it was fun. I started to. Well, the first time I went to it is like years ago, and then I kind of stopped doing that, and then getting back to it like last year or so.
Yep.
Because I started to have like a bunch of like game industry people going just to hang out.
Yeah.
So it became like a little bit different meaning, but yeah, still pretty fun.
Yeah, cool. Well, yeah, I've actually never been to any, but I'm heading over later this year for Lightbox and the ZBrush Summit. Like, I'm just waiting to get the dates for the summit because, like, I've never been to one. I always watch it. Like, I watched the 3-day event online and stuff, and I've been really excited to go. So, is there anything that you would recommend that you like that definitely have to do things like bring your portfolio or like meet people? Or what's like some of the biggest takeaways that you'd think?
I actually never actually been to Lightbox before. I think Colleen go there every year. It's at
Cool.
the same location as Monster Palooza, actually, like the same convention center.
Oh, cool.
And
In
then
Pasadena.
yeah. I
Yep.
think like probably like the best you can get out of it is like just to don't be afraid and talk to like everyone you want to talk to.
Yep.
And like seems like if you get a chance, like just go and talk to them, don't be shy. And then like I think everyone is super friendly, especially like some of the artists I admire for like so long, respected for like so long. I so afraid to talk to them before, and then like once
Yeah.
I approach, they're being like super nice and it actually like surprised me, like someone like that level, and then still being like so kind and so nice to talk to people, even for like junior people. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I think that's sort of the beauty of our industry is that it's like everyone has been the person at the, at an entry level. Like no one just starts as like one of the best people. So I feel like kind of we all, I mean, that goes to be said for a lot of different industries, but we all sort of come from that humble grind. And I think we all sort of know how hard it is to get into this and how much it means, to pass on your knowledge and to be nice to everyone else. Like even like right now, like us having this chat, like it's something that I was struggling with at the start of this as well. I thought being all the way in Australia, I was like, how can I connect with all these people that are overseas? And because it seems like the industry is overseas. So I was like, I got to throw myself in the deep end and get on the YouTube and get this stuff going. So,
Yeah, actually, I was thinking about that like the other day. I was like, yeah, the thing you want to do, like the like how you format this is like pretty cool because like right now everyone is like working from home, and then like the way you do this is like more naturally, and then like you can actually talk to like people around the world, like seeing like different or like pretty much like everyone is in the same industry, but like from country to country and from like different area, like it's just so different. So it's like I don't think we have like that much of the opportunity before to talk to like people from the other side, and then like people from like different country, like how is it like the game industry over there. But like this thing you're doing, like it's just amazing. I can bring out like so many opportunity to explore that.
oh man, that's awesome to hear. But it's just as much a selfish thing for me as well, because I'm like, how do I, how can I talk to these people? I'll just make my own platform. But yeah, no, it's great, man. It's awesome. Speaking of chatting with Colleen, she actually mentioned you in the interview. I'm sure you listened to it. One of the things I was really keen to chat to you about was the environment art to character art sort of jump that you did, and that how as soon as she said it, I remember thinking that is quite rare. Like it's pretty rare that you would be so good as an environment artist and make the jump to character art. Is character art always the thing that you wanted to do?
Actually, yes. I do have like my portfolio. I definitely have like more character pieces compared to environment. And like, yeah, it's rare in Western, but like it's not that not common in the like where I came from, like the because I
Mm,
where I started, I was started from like a company that has like they do game development, but they also do like service for like outsourcing.
gotcha.
Like I started with the development side, and then I moved to outsourcing later. And then pretty much all the artists in the outsourcing part, they are capable to do like both environment and character. So there's no separation as the job title over there. Like most people just decide the title would be like 3D artist, CG artist, and that's it. So yeah, I think it's more common to for people to do both. I'm not sure I can speak for the entire Asia, but but
Yeah.
at least for Taiwan, mainland China is probably doing that.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I never, to be honest, I never actually thought of that. I've seen, portfolios. It's hard to tell sometimes where people are from and what they're doing. To have a level of diversity like that, like when you see environment art and character art in the same portfolio, it is quite rare. So yeah, to make the jump the way that you did, when you started your career, was that just purely environment art, and then you were doing character art on the side, or was it kind of like I'm going to completely change halfway through?
Well, when I started, like when even back in the time I was in school, I was like focusing on character stuff more. But when I first like my first job is like a really small team, and then I was just my title was just 3D artist, so pretty
Oh
much
yeah.
do everything. Yeah, and then there's like only like two 3D artists in the team, me and art director, and that's it.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
I have to pretty much do everything. I've done like 2D, 3D, UI, rigging, and pretty much everything. And then when I moved on to the outsourcing side of the same company, well, I think it's the nature of the outsourcing. Like we just receive like more environment work than character. So just getting like more experience over the environment, even though my passion is on character, all my like personal stuff is on character. It's just getting more opportunity on the environment side. Kind of like when I got brought in to Sony, got into the environment team because the person who brought me in was like environment outsource supervisor at that time. So I naturally get into the environment team, and then later on, get the opportunity to make the jump. So I made the switch.
Yeah, because I think that is something that I've seen, sitting in forums and being on Discord servers and things like that. People that ask professionals about, getting their foot in the door type thing, whether they should diversify to a skill set that's not really their passion, but they're like, maybe I can get an environment artist role because there's heaps more of them and the demand for it is so high. But yeah, it's cool to see your example of making that transition in one of the biggest companies ever. Just before you got to Sony, where was the studio that you worked before moving over to Sony?
It's in Taiwan. It's a studio called XPAC.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I don't think it exists anymore, but yeah, it's the like really small development department, and then like a huge outsourcing like vendor side.
Yeah, cool, man. Well, it looks like you learnt everything you needed to learn there from every
Yeah.
every aspect of the pipeline. So jump forward. Now you're working at working at PlayStation, working on Naughty Dog IPs. What is some of the funnest assets that you've worked on? As far as you've worked on Spider-Man, like Returnal, Last of Us 1 and 2. What's one of the funnest assets?
I need to think about this one.
I knew it was a loaded question because I was like, yeah, for someone who's worked on so much stuff, surely.
Yeah, and I don't want to like make people mad about like the other one, but yeah, definitely like I think the Last of Us Part One, like the remake,
Yep.
is probably like the one that impact me the most because like I think the project takes like the longest period of time, and then there's a lot of memory over that one, so yeah, that one affect me a lot. So I think yeah, and then especially I for that one I kind of work all the way like from NPCs to like touch on a little bit of the hero characters, and then even the monster like the clicker, the runner, and all that stuff. So it's kind of
Yeah.
like got to touch a little bit of everything. So it's definitely probably I would say that's yeah.
I was gonna say, dude, I was gonna answer that for you. I was like, it's definitely The Last of Us. Like I said this, I said the same thing. With Colleen, it was working on such an amazing title. It's like I feel like it's definitely somewhat the mountaintop of the video game industry of the last 10 years. But do you have a preferred discipline as far as modeling and texturing, or are they kind of much the same for you?
It's kind of pretty much the same. I'm more well. Pretty much everyone likes sculpting more than
Yeah.
everything else, but pretty much the same as sculpting. And then texturing, I started to like get more interesting about it. So
yeah, cool. Yeah, well, we talk about them. You know, like I was just saying, the mountaintop of, you know, working on The Last of Us and Spider-Man. You've got all these great titles that you've worked on. It's sometimes difficult, I think, you know, with anything, whenever you reach a certain level, to say, oh, I can, you know, get that high again or get that rush of working on this really cool thing. Is there an IP or you know, any existing game franchise that exists that you want to say, when it's all said and done, you say, hey, I really want to work on that?
Sorry, every single one I have to think too long. But like,
Nah.
yeah, I think I already like. I don't want to say like I already touched like whatever I want to work on, because like back in the days I was like, my dream was to work on one of the Naughty Dog IP, and then at that time it's still Uncharted, and then finally I got a chance to work on like The Last of Us, and I think that's it. I don't really know like what else. Yeah, I worked on like the one of the Kojima's game before, Death Stranding. So if I got a chance to work on that for the character side, I'll be like super happy about it.
Yeah, sweet. Well, I was thinking, it's like, well, you're in the game industry, but has there ever been, speaking of going to the next step, or, you know, jumping to different mountaintops, working on The Last of Us, has VFX or any of the, you know, films and movie side of character work interested you?
Actually, like when I was in school, like back in the college time, I was actually more focusing, and then like try to get into like the film industry in the beginning, because like my major, like all the professor in my major was actually tied closer to the film industry, like VFX industry. So at that time, like they tried to push all of us, like the students, into that direction. But like later on, after so many years in the game industry, I feel like it's just so different right now. So I'm not that familiar with like what other knowledge I need to have for the film industry. But looking at some of the portfolio piece like from people like from that industry, like it's amazing. And then like I definitely want to study more towards that. But like my thoughts would be more like how to bring the quality of that like back into the game, and not like pursue a different career or something.
Yeah, that's something that I've been thinking of a lot lately, you know, to do with scans and the quality of what game engines can handle moving forward. Like, you know, I'm like, when 100,000 polys was sort of the limit for what a game character, like a hero game character, was. Now people are talking about, you know, or the Matrix demo and stuff like that are using strand-based hair. As far as haircuts, I think that there's always going to be, and you could probably correct me on this if it's wrong, but there probably always is going to need to be a level of LOD to a game engine for at least the foreseeable future. But I am really interested in how that gap is bridged between VFX and games moving into the future, as like, because you see film and TV shows now using Unreal Engine. It's like, how long before the game engine becomes like the movie, you know, like where it's that level of quality?
I think the real time like changing of the lighting and the setup, like I think that's the most benefit from the using the game engine. Even for the film, like the film side, I think that's the part they try to take the benefit out of it. And like about like how to bring the game quality closer to the film, I think like it's just a matter of time, because like right now like you say, the polygons actually grows like quite fast, and then like it's already crazy like back compared to when I went to school. And then like the polygon on the character's face, like, especially for AAA titles on main characters, like it's already crazy dense. And then like the amount of maps we can plug into the shader, like for example like displacement, like that's something I when I back into the school days, I use that for the film. But like right now it's like getting more and more popular for the game industry. So I think it's just a transition, like it just depends on the time, and then like the technology will be slowly going to like the game industry, and then like however that works for the video game, and then probably will add into the pipeline for the film too. So,
yeah. I saw that the displacement was that thing for so long that wasn't really a game engine thing, like you said. Now it's like displacement and strand-based hair and all that kind of stuff. Even though it's so expensive right now, it's like, what are the engines going to be looking like in a couple of years when it's not that expensive to be using that in an engine?
Yeah, especially like, let's say if it's like expensive for this generation of the console to handle, maybe the next generation it only comes out like, I don't know, like definitely in less than 10 years it will be the next generation, and then the next generation it will be like more and more technology. And then right now, like the PC is like stronger than the console, and then how much it can handle. Like definitely more and more crazy of the things we can do in real time.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, kind of piggybacking off that, as if you were to say, starting off in the industry today, because our industry is so evolving, like there's always, you need to be on top of like latest software. There's a new program that comes out, a new plugin. What would you say today is one of the biggest things that you would do if you were starting again today, like to stay on top of new technology and new stuff that's coming out as far as the game engine pipeline?
I would say probably focus on one thing, like either software or one technique or one area and then get it to the level of closer to the professional level, like closer to the final product, like the industry brought out. Like many people choose to sculpt to use ZBrush as the first software, and then I would say just focus on that, and then like focus on modeling, and then get the level to like finish level, and then move on to something else. And then and instead of like getting interested in like so many different things, and then like have like touch up a little bit of everything, but like the quality of the portfolio piece is not there, then for me it's more of a waste of time.
Yeah.
And then if the people can like focus on just one area and get it to the professional level, and then move on to like the next thing, and then get into that, and then probably can generate more of the usable portfolio pieces.
Yeah, cool. So like I've always seen specialization as like, okay, characters, I want to be a character artist. Do you think even narrowing it down even further than that, like if you're a pro at clothing or you're a pro at hair, are these is that how far you think you should drill down?
Yeah, I think like if all of the game art, it would be like definitely a more and more split out, because like back in the day when I was doing like I mentioned, it's just 3D artists, like, and then even the time period, even before that, like back into like Nintendo time, like people just can draw and then can be like the artist. The title would be just artist. It will definitely get like split out like even more and more. And then like Sony, like for Visual Art Studio, like we have it's not character art anymore. Like there will be like blend shape team, there will be like scan face scan team, and there will be like character team. In the future, it definitely will be split out more, and the artists that just focus on hair only, and then like you say, like clothing only. So yeah, definitely I would say get to a certain level on one area first. It's definitely something you should, especially for the future.
Yeah, that's a really good tip, because I think that term, that broad term of like specialization, especially in the game industry, because the VFX pipeline usually is very segmented and broken up into niches. And
yeah, that's interesting to know, because I feel like that's probably one of the direction gaming industry like moving towards for right now. Like there's a lot of artists like that has a really strong background of sculpting, so they more focus on like the modeling part, and then like there will be artists, and then we also separate out the material artists, so that's also one thing too. So yeah, it's definitely more towards that direction.
I was talking to Jay Hill last year. One of his things that I've always remembered that he said is that the triangle of work, you either get to make games, play games, or have a life, and you can only have two. So do you subscribe to that first of all, or do you actually have time to play games as well as making them these days?
I think having two is actually probably more than like majority of like the artists can do. A lot of people can just do one. And I feel like especially for the period like you're growing up in the studio, in your career, you have to do like 8 hours of work, and then you have to practice at night. Back in it, like when I started like my career, I don't even have time to play game at that time. I was like so disconnect from everything. And then recently I started to have more and more time to actually enjoy a little bit of other things. I feel like I'm definitely believing that, but I think one is probably more close to it, and then having two is actually like luxury.
I mean it does, because it's kind of a weird thing, right? Like, because gaming is probably what it's what got me interested in this industry. It's probably what got you like people that get into making game art is probably because they were a fan of the medium as an art form and playing it and stuff like that. So you do get to a point where I don't think you can have the time to be able to do both. But I feel like playing AAA games today, like a new release AAA game, for me visually, and to be able to see how they put it together and seeing what models look like in engine on the TV, I feel like it's a beneficial thing. It's almost like doing homework playing it these days.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but you just have to kill like the time to sleep, exchange to the time to play game. But
Yeah,
yeah.
that's it. Yeah, it's all about balance. Hey, the big topic at the moment, I don't really like focusing on AI like as a topic in general, but everything is becoming more streamlined as far as like plugins, even scanned assets. Like I know scanned assets are a huge thing. Like that's not AI, but it is a level of, okay, we didn't have this before, and now it's something that is part of our usual pipeline. Like we're going to be using a scanned asset of some kind, whether it's as a reference or an element of something that we don't need to be doing anymore. What do you think the future of ZBrush users and modeling artists and texturing artists is going to be with AI coming into the pipeline? Do you see it taking any roles or like being a useful thing or a more of a negative thing?
I think right now it's hard to imagine because I think it impacts 2D more than 3D, like especially on the concept part. And then like a lot of people confused about like automation things come to AI. Like a lot of things that we consider AI right now is actually automation of something like this, some process. But like you say, like for things that's getting like more something we cannot do before, but right now can just like scan and stuff. But definitely for things like that, I would be creating like more tasks for different areas. I still think we will be needing the same amount of work to be done by people, because like let's say like scan comes out and then suddenly we need to artists to clean up the scan, which is scan artists.
Yep.
And then in the future, if there's something more like automation, there will be something comes out. Because like I remember back in the days when Marvelous Designer first comes out, like everyone say, oh,
Yeah.
that's doomed for ZB artists. Like no one need to sculpt the clothing anymore. Like they just like hit the button and it's done. Actually, it's not. It's just create more work for like people to professional in Marvelous Designer and get it to work. And right now, like scan, it's the same thing. I still feel like that's the new technology comes out. It will be like just create different more, but still same amount of like job opportunity. But it's just more for us to learn actually.
Yeah. No, I mean, I didn't really ever think about it like that, and not having been in the industry at the time when Marvelous sort of came on the scene, I feel like I would have had a pretty similar thing, being like, oh, 3D simulation clothing application that at the click of a button can give you a 50-60% head start into doing it. It's probably going to be pretty detrimental, but like you said, it's just something that the existing artists can kind of bring into their tool set to be able to be better artists. Yeah, cool. Well, as far as gaming industry goes, and like, you know, we spoke about the VFX and doing that sort of thing, I noticed that you do some model work as well, like 3D print model work. It's something that I'm super keen into getting into, just as far as let's try something else sort of thing, so I can have some of the stuff that I worked on here. Is that something that you just do for fun, or is it something that you want to be doing in the future?
It's just something doing for fun, and like
I think a lot of people do it for fun.
Yeah, I feel like that's a dream for every like character artist, try to like print out whatever they sculpt. So yeah, like towards the end of my first job, like the art director at that time, like leave the company and try to start a new company at the same time, working on like he tried to create a figure company like based on like 3D sculpting and then like printing. And then I was talking to him at the time, so that got me really interested into 3D printing. And then like I even purchased like 3D printer and then start doing all that. Yeah, it's amazing actually. The thing you sculpt is totally different, and it's something hard to imagine like long time ago. And then that's also one of the things I like to join, like all those conventions, because like people actually getting more and more into that part, and then like start to show like a lot of like new sculpture and like new statues. It's just really cool to see all that in real life. And then
because it is. I mean, it is another industry, right? Like there are 3D artists that are making figurines and things like that. I think that it's an avenue, that a standardized job that you could see like a Hasbro or one of these people that are like, we're looking for like a ZBrush artist to be, which I think is really cool. You know, like what's it going to look like in another few years when it's just as big of an industry, you know, doing printable work.
Yeah, and then even like probably 5 or 10 years ago, like some of the requirement for some of the toy company, I think required like all the model, the prototype being sculpted by by hand, but right now they started to hire like artists to do like ZBrush and then like 3D printed like as prototype.
Yeah.
It's just like, yeah, it's getting more and more into that. And then the cost of doing 3D printing is like dropped like crazy low right now. And then compared to when I purchased my printer, which is a bad decision. But yeah.
What model do you have? What 3D printer do you have?
I have a Form 2.
I'm just looking to get one, so I want to know what works.
Yeah, right now it's a lot cheaper. When I purchased it, it's like the price was pretty high.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that's definitely moving a good direction. I'm getting more and more people getting into it. But for me, probably like I would keep it as a hobby for myself. I'm thinking about like getting into that. But it's definitely fun to, once you finish something, you have the ability to print it out and then holding in your hands.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, like we said at the top of this, the Monster Palooza and Lightbox and all these different places, like I feel like, because I'm living it through a screen, so I see, you know, through social media and other people's things, because it's an in-person event, maybe the physical mediums do a lot better there, because if people are in person, they're looking at the physical stuff. But I just feel like all the stands, like they're all to do with like you see Raf Grassetti's work, like with his mod, like I saw you there with like, he's got all these models and stuff. Like I'm just thinking, is this like some untapped market or like the future of something that I'm not aware of? Like I just feel like the 3D model stuff at the expos is huge.
I don't know about like how big the market would be, but like,
yeah,
honestly, yeah, as a person who attend the show, it's amazing to see all that stuff. Like right. that's definitely something to get me like back like every single year. And then he always bring up like just like the Raf Grassetti, and he always bring up like the newest, like the coolest stuff like every single year, and then get to talk to him and then get to see like something he created for, especially for that show, it's just amazing.
Is he someone that you sort of looked up to, as far as, I mean, almost every 3D game artist, you know, looks up to him in some sort of way, but is there something about him and his style that you gravitated towards?
Yeah, definitely. Like he's, especially like how he can like create things that really fast, like getting all the detail, like and then like getting all the majority of the design, the concept in such a short time is just crazy.
Yeah, that's exactly my takeaway from him as well. It's like, how have you done? It's like the perfect amount of effort. It's not too much, it's not too less. It's just right in the middle to make it look as good as it does. Like he's a wizard when it comes to that stuff. Hey.
Yeah, but at the same time, when he started to post, it's like one or two posts per day, and then it's like not ending. And it's like a crazy amount of work. It's hard to imagine how he can do that like within the 24 hours.
Yeah, it's nuts. Well, I mean, even someone of, you know, the things that he's worked on and the things that he's done, there was, you know, that period where he was doing a lot of personal work and doing, you know, when you work at somewhere like a PlayStation, right? Like in my head, if I was to get a job at PlayStation, I feel like I wouldn't do personal work anymore. I would just be like, okay, I'm working at the best place ever. Is there a level of truth to that, or do you still find time to work on personal projects?
It's hard to justify myself. I try to, but I don't have that much like personal project done like recently. But yeah, I'm still trying to, because like there's always some topic I wanted to do. Like I think that's like same thing for every artist. Like they just have something like just coming to mind, and just I want to create that so bad. Yeah, definitely still want to do something, but it's hard to justify. It's like, yeah, buried for recently, but yeah.
Well, yeah, that's like what I said. It's like you're working at somewhere that takes so much out of you to do that exact skill set day in and day out. It's sometimes the last thing that you want to be doing, coming back and doing the exact same thing again. I think the issue that I've worked in a bunch of different industries as well, as far as 3D, and the thing that I've gotten burnt out about working for a client and working for a boss, working under like a structured, you need to do this sort of thing, the strictness of working under someone else's guidance or guidelines. Mm-hmm. So is there a level of creativity that you get from work that you don't feel the need to really do portfolio work? Like, do you find yourself being creative at work where you think, oh man, I need to do something else?
It kind of depends on the project, because like some of the project, like the concept and the requirement is like so restricted, so so basically just do, I can see what you said, like for the time like doing those projects, one way you want to spend more time like at home doing like your personal work more, and then like restricted with all the rules at work, but at the same time like it's just so tired after like 8 hours. But depending on the project, because like some of the project give me like quite some freedom to explore myself. Yeah, like for example, like for Naughty Dog's project, it's like usually the major direction is like really clear. Like we got like really clean concept art, but this when we transform the concept like the 2D into 3D, we still have like a lot of room we can actually add whatever we think is cool inside. Like yeah, and a lot of like the thing that doesn't need to be like one to one to the concept. So it's kind of depend on the project and on the studio who assigned the work to us.
Yeah, okay. So is there a level of creativity when it comes to working with the concept artists as well as yourself, like being a senior character artist? Is it very much they do their job and deliver and then you execute, or is there a level of help, like, oh, I think this would be really cool if he, had this like little pouch here, or like if he had a scar here or did something like that? Is that something that you work with the concept artist with, or is it very they do their own thing?
Oh, we can talk. It would also depend on the project. Like for some project, we
Yeah.
can actually talk to them and do that. And then for some of the time, we just shoot it like, and then if they don't like it, and then we just have to like take it out. But like worth trying.
Oh, you've done that before? You've just put it in and see how it goes?
Yeah, and then like if they don't like it, and then we took it out later.
Yeah,
Like
cool. I never really thought of that.
yeah, like for one of the piece I did for the part two remastered, the Ellie astronaut
Yeah.
outfit. So all the color of the metal, like the red and blue holes. Actually, I added in, and then like no one actually say anything to it. So I was like, okay, I'm passed. That's cool.
Oh, really? You just threw it in?
Yeah.
That's sick. Oh, dude, that's amazing work too. Like, I remember when you posted that, like, not even that long ago. I was like, damn, so good.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the cool ones. And then like yeah, I did the texture work. Oh, a little bit high poly and low poly work, but majority of the texture of that one. And then yeah, I worked like really closely with the concept artists who come out with the idea of that one. But at the same time, I just when I do the texture, I throw in whatever I think is like cool. And then like I do find a bunch of like NASA astronaut outfit like reference, but
Yeah.
and then just apply whatever I think is cool on him, and then like on the outfit, and then see how it works.
Like the last few posts that you had were predominantly like clothing pieces. Do you do most of your work in ZBrush, or do you jump around through Marvelous as well?
For the last few, so majority of the novel project, I think we use skim asset, like
Oh,
from
yeah,
those are all the clothing was from like real skin, and then we did a lot of zebra sculpting on top of that to make it like fit in the concept. Yeah, and then majority of the creativity comes from the texturing part, actually.
Yeah, interesting. Do you use all elements of the scan, like the texture data as well as the model data, or is it more just the model and then you do the texturing separately?
The model we it's like a starting point for us. We don't even actually use it one to one. Like
Yep.
some of the like we have to crop, like let's say like the sleeve is and the jacket is like from two different skin, and we just patch it together, and then for pretty much every single one, because like the setting of the game, so we have to add like a bunch of damage and wear and tear on top of it.
Yeah,
and those
cool.
are like it's not actually from the skin, it's like added later on. As for the texture, I think some of them have the skin texture to begin with. We definitely did a lot of the texturing work on top of that to make it like fitting the universe.
Yeah, sweet. Have you got any plugs or anything that you want to shout out?
Yeah, just I have like all the social account, like different platform, and then I just recently started on I don't even know how to pronounce it, Kara.
Oh, the car app. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I haven't posted anything yet, but I think like everyone's moving on.
It is really cool to see. Hey, I think they're nearing 1 million subscribers on that app now.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like within such a short time. I think it's this for quite a while, but like just something like goes really fast, and then like yeah, like passionate about like posting stuff over there. The community like definitely for me a little healthier, and then like you can see a lot of like cool stuff.
It is like, I mean, I haven't really, us talking about AI stuff before, I hadn't really thought that much about it as far as, like a toxic place, because I feel like it was just something that I knew everyone's on ArtStation. It really, yeah, it's a much bigger topic that I think that it's great. It just goes to show that our industry, we're such a tight knit people, even though we're all over the place. Like we all have very similar views on this topic. So it's great to see everyone sort of banding together. Yeah, cool, man. Anyway, I'll put all your stuff down below in the description as well, all your links, so everyone go check out Henry's work because it's amazing. Also, are you going to be going to Lightbox or the ZBrush Summit later this year?
No, sadly not this year. I was thinking about that, but like during the time of the Lightbox, I'll be traveling, so.
Oh, that's cool. No, that's awesome, man. I'm just looking forward to seeing heaps of people there. Yeah.
But I will be going to like Comic Cons and Monster Puddles probably next year also.
Yeah, sick. You'll see how I go this year, and I might have to come over again next year.
Yeah, post all the photos. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, we'll do. Well, yeah, again, thanks so much, man. Thanks so much for your time. I know that you're super busy and everything, but it's really great to talk to you.
Yeah, thank you for the invite, actually. Like, it's crazy. And then, just shout out to Colleen who make the whole thing happen.
Yeah, no, she's a big ambassador of yours, man. So that's great. Great that you guys have that connection from work and stuff, which is really cool to see. And then I'm all the way over here in Australia, and somehow I'm talking to both you guys. So no worries, man. Well, anyways, have a good one. Thanks for the chat.
All right, thank you so much.
Thanks, bro.